Greetings and welcome to another installment from the Patchwork Productionz Learn to Crochet for Beginners series. In this video, you will learn how to work the treble or triple crochet in the row. For those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Stitch, and Patchwork Productionz is all about learning and doing crochet. So make sure you subscribe so you never miss another installment. Without further ado, let's get started. So for this video, I'll be using some regular weight 4 or medium worsted weight yarn, and I'll be using a US 10 or a J10 size hook, a 5.75 millimeter hook. And if you haven't seen the previous tutorials in this tutorial series, I encourage you to check that out. I'll put a link in the description box down below so you can see those. It'll help you to understand some of the things that I may not necessarily explain in this video. But let's begin. Today we'll be learning how to make the triple or treble crochet. So let's begin by making our foundation chain. Let's make our slip knot. We're gonna make our loop. So you have their tail end under your working end, and you're gonna pull your working end through the loop, pull it, and there we have our slip knot. And we're going to make a foundation chain of 19 stitches. So we're going to make sure we have good yarn tension. And now, just like with the double crochet, the half double crochet, the single crochet, we always need a turning set of chains that we can use to add height to each row so that we can move from row to row. And so for the treble crochet, we will need 4 extra chains. And so as we work 19 chains for our foundation chain, we're going to have 4 extra and then the chain that we work into. So let's count this. I feel like I may have too many. So remember that the V's tell us where a chain is, and we can count those. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, yep, 2 extra. There we go. So now we have 19 chains for our foundation chain. And for the remainder of this video, the triple crochet is the US terminology. The British terminology would be a double triple or a double treble crochet, but I'll be using the triple crochet US terminology. And triple and treble are pretty much interchangeable for this. Not particularly certain why they're both used, but both of them are used. But if you hear a triple crochet or a treble crochet, it is the same. Also, feel free to pause or rewind this video if you need to refer to any part of this video so that you get the hang of making the triple crochet. And so to make this, we need our 4 chains as our turning chain. So if we count our chains from the hook, not including the loop on the hook, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our turning chain. And we're going to work into the 5th chain from the hook. So we have 1 chain, 2 chains, 3 chains, 4 chains, 5 chains. This is the 5th chain from the hook, and we're going to work in the back of it into the bump. So we're going to work into the 5th chain from the hook at the back. Now for the triple crochet, we're going to yarn over twice. So we're going to yarn over, and we're going to yarn over again. So we've made 2 additional loops on our hook, and we're going to keep these on the hook when we work into the 5th chain. So we're going to find that 5th chain again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to turn it over to that bump. We can see that bump that we're going to work into, and we're going to stick our hook in there, And so now we have four loops on the hook. We have the loop that was there, the 2 yarn overs we made, and the bump that we just inserted our hook into. We're going to yarn over and draw a loop, leaving the other loops on the hook. So we have 4 loops on the hook. So now we're going to yarn over and we're going to draw through the first 2 loops. But we're going to leave the other 2 on, so we have 3 loops on the hook. We're then going to yarn over and draw through the next 2 loops, leaving the last loop on the hook. So now we have 2 loops on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and draw through both loops. And so this is our treble crochet. Let's do it again closely so that you can see. So we're going to yarn over twice, yarn over, yarn over. So now we have the loop we had and the 2 yarn overs. We're going to insert our hook into the next stitch or the bump of our foundation chain. We're going to yarn over and draw it through that bump. But we're going to leave the other 3 on the hook. So now we have 4 loops on the hook. We have the loop that we started with, the 2 yarn overs, and the loop that we just drew. We're then going to yarn over and we're going to draw through the first 2 loops, but leave the last 2 loops. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to draw through the first 2 loops, but leave the last loop on the hook. So now we have 2 loops. Then we're going to yarn over, and we're going to draw through both of those loops. So let's work this again. Going to yarn over twice. So we have 3 loops on the hook, the loop we started with, and the 2 yarn overs. We're going to insert our hook into the next stitch, or this bump of our foundation chain, and we're going to draw a loop through that bump, leaving the other 3 loops on the hook. So now we have 4 loops on the hook. We're then going to yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops, leaving the last 2 loops on. So now we have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over again and draw through the next 2 loops, but we're going to leave that last loop on the hook. So now we have 2 loops on the hook. And then we're going to yarn over and draw through the last 2 loops. And so this is how we work the treble crochet or the triple crochet in the row. And you'll notice, just like what we saw with the double crochet, the half double crochet, and the single crochet, the size of the various loops made in the treble crochet can be adjusted at various points in the stitch making process. And all a part of good tension is ensuring that these loop sizes don't get too big or too small, so that your stitch remains even and consistent throughout your project. Now, the treble crochet is not a widely used stitch, but it is a good stitch to know. It's one of the foundation stitches in crochet because it can be used to make quite a lot of things. Now, when we go to move on to the next row, row 2, just like we saw with the double and the half double crochet, we're going to notice that the turning chain that we used in the beginning and throughout the rest of our project is going to count as one of our treble crochets. So I'll finish this row and then we'll move on to row 2. Okay, so we have 2 more stitches in our foundation chain to work into. So we're going to finish these treble crochets and then we'll see how to move on to row 2. Again, to show you, yarn over twice. We leave the 2 yarn overs on our hook and insert our hook into the next stitch. Yarn over and draw through that loop, leaving the other 3 loops on the hook. So now we have 4 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over, draw through the first 2 only, leaving the last 2 on, so we have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over again and draw through only the first 2 loops, leaving the last loop on the hook. So now we have 2 loops on the hook, and then we're going to yarn over and draw through the last 2. And so we've finished row 1 of our treble crochets. And so let's go ahead and count these, and we're going to count our turning chain as one of the treble crochets. So again, these V's at the top indicate a finished stitch, and we're not going to count our loop. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So we have 15 double crochets including our turning, and then including our turning chain we have 16 total. And so we're going to also remember that with the double crochets, the posts could also be counted, and it's the same for the treble crochet. You see these posts here is what they're also known as, and these can be counted so that you know how many stitches you have. They're easier to see as opposed to a single crochet, which is very small, and so you don't usually count the posts for single crochets. You wouldn't say a single crochet has a post, but things like the double crochet, treble crochet, these can all be considered posts as well, and we can count those. So let's do that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That includes our turning chain. And so to move on to row 2, we need to add a turning chain of 4 chains. So we're going to do 1 chain, 2 chains, 3 chains, 4 chains. We're going to turn our work. Let's pull out some extra yarn here. And now we're going to work into the second treble crochet, because remember, this turning chain counts as a treble crochet. So if we count back here our chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, we see that this is the spot for the first treble crochet. We're not going to work into this, we're going to skip that, but we're going to work into this one. And again, you can see we're not going to work under the, between the post and under this little, I guess you could say, strand here, but we're going to work in this hole right there, because that is underneath the 2 V's, and I'll show you really closely. So we're not going to work between here, but we're going to work right in this hole. That's where we're going to stick our hook under the 2 V's to make our treble crochet. So let's make our first treble crochet for row 2. We're going to yarn over twice. So now we have 2 loops from our yarn over and the loop that we had on our hook. That's 3 loops on the hook. We're going to insert our hook under the 2 V's. We're going to yarn over and draw a loop through. So now we have 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over, draw through the first 2 loops only. Going to yarn over again, draw through the first 2 loops only, then yarn over again, draw a loop through the last 2 loops. And so there's the first double crochet for row 2, or first treble crochet, my bad. And so we're going to make another one. Yarn over twice, insert the hook, draw a loop, yarn over, draw a loop through the first two, draw a loop through this next two, and draw a loop through the last two. Let's do it again closely and slowly so you can see. Going to yarn over twice. Going to insert our hook into the next stitch. We're going to yarn over and pull through a loop. We're going to leave these loops on the hook, so we have 4 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and draw our loop through only the first 2 loops. We're going to leave the other 2, so we have 3 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over again and draw our loop through these next 2 only, and we're going to leave this one on the hook, so now we have 2 loops on the hook. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to draw through the last 2 loops. So I'm going to work to the end of this row so we can see again how to move to the next row, and that would be row 3. Okay, so we have our last treble crochet to work into. So we're going to work into this. And now we're going to count how many stitches we have in our second row. So we're going to count them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We're going to count our turning chains, so that's 15. And so we see that we need 16, like we had on the bottom, which means our last treble crochet has to be worked into the turning chain from the previous row. And so if you look here, you'll see the 2 V's from that chain that you can work into. So I'm going to yarn over twice, stick your hook in there, and then we're going to work this treble crochet. And there is our 16th treble crochet for row 2. And so this is how we work the treble crochet or the triple crochet in the row. And you may notice these small, not quite small, but these gaps here, and that is normal, especially since the treble crochet naturally is a more loose and open stitch. So if you're working a square like this, this is pretty much what it will look like. And now, just to make a point, let's fasten off here real quick. Snip the end and pull this loop through here. Make a knot, and there's the end. So this is the treble crochet, and it is not the tallest stitch. There's also a double treble, and I think there's even a treble treble or something. I don't remember the exact names, but there are taller stitches. They're rarer, they're less used, but just to show you a diagram, and it helps you to remember the amount of turning chains required, I'm going to make you a small staircase, if you would, to help you to understand the height difference between the basic stitches. So, gonna make, this would be for the single crochet, half double crochet, treble crochet, and the extra turning chain so I can begin. And so if you watch carefully, I'm going to make each of these stitches, and you'll see how they grow in height. So let's make the single crochet. Now let's make the half double crochet. Now let's make the double crochet. And now let's make the triple crochet. So you can see here, I guess it's a tad hard to see. If I just stretch it out a little, bring it up close, you'll see that here we had our single crochet. This is the half double crochet. Move that out of the way so you have less contrast there, or more contrast. So yes, we have the single crochet, the half double crochet, the double crochet, and the treble crochet. And you notice that each one grows in size by about a stitch. And if we remember, our turning chains for the single crochet, it's 1. For the half double crochet, it's 2. For the double crochet, it's 3. And for the treble crochet, it's 4. And if I were to move up to the double treble crochet, I would do 5. And so it goes on that the size grows, and so does the amount of turning chains. And this is the basics of working in the row. And as you see here, each time we move on to another row, we would add our turning chain, and you could work this for as long as you need, and then you work into the turning chain as the final stitch, because the turning chain works as a treble crochet for this. And this is the end of this tutorial for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this tutorial and want to learn more about crochet, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, and also share this video with your friends and family or on social media. And feel free to leave a comment down below. If you have any questions or suggestions or any feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, catch you later.